Well, Anna said big up Kubara and the Nubiart show, giving a different perspective on Africa and the African world. Love.
Yo, this is Tony Roughcut, and remember the boat is Sound Radio. I listen to Wicked, your local radio station.
Hi, welcome to Nubiart with me, Kubara. Nubiart, a different perspective on the African world.
My question to you, first of all, is as an African man, what do you think makes a woman beautiful?
It depends what you mean by beautiful, right? Because there's a natural beauty that's in the face, or that's in the way they walk, or, you know, like the clear complexion, the shape, but then there's also like the personality. So like there's elements of that.
Do you not think that all those things are just interlinked? Is there a separation between natural beauty and inner beauty, as you were saying, or isn't it just one whole dynamic?
Well, the thing is, right, I mean, somebody can be beautiful. Those different aspects of beauty can all be there, but, you know, that might not be a person you want to go out with. A person can be beautiful in physical beauty or in the way they walk, the way they talk, but that doesn't mean you want to go out with them, because there's other things, personality-wise, their habits, they might already be involved with somebody else.
True.
They might not find you attractive, so there's all those other elements as well.
But where you're talking about getting involved with somebody or seeing someone beautiful in the process that you want to get to know them better. What if it's a summer day in London? You know how it is. Everyone just steps out and they're in their finest because it's summertime. If you saw somebody walking by, would it be the short skirt, or would it be the trousers, or would it be the way she's done her hair? Would it be the way she's walking? What would it make you stop and think, you know, that woman, she's got something?
It could be the fitness of the body, it could be the face, it could just be the way they put their clothes together. It's a combination, but it could also be one thing, and it can be a different combination. You know, there can be people that you see that you say, okay, that person looked good, but you might never go and talk to them.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so for me, right, I mean, specific things, one thing we were talking about earlier on was to do with the high heels, right?
Yes.
Now, a lot of men think high heels is attractive,
Yeah.
right? I'm not really impressed by high heels, right? To me, a lot of women that I see wearing high heels, it makes them look unstable. And I always say, like, unstable body, unstable mind.
Sure.
Now, that's me. Obviously, well, a range of men are different. Most women I've talked to have said that men like women in high heels. Now, never in my life have I been impressed by high heels.
Do you think that's a kind of a society kind of thing, you know, because I have to be honest, you're the first guy I've met that's actually said that I don't find that attractive, women wearing high heels. And so do you think that society has kind of predicated this kind of idea of what women should wear? And
well, there is all the images and the femininity. The high heels are supposed to make a woman more feminine. Women feel more attractive. I think they feel more taller and more slimmer.
Certainly.
And one thing I have read is that also with high heels, the angle that your foot is at in high heels is supposed to be the same angle that your feet are at when you're having sex.
Okay.
So, like, that's why subliminally there's a symbol, right, that the woman has while she's wearing it, because her feet are at the same angle as sex. And the man, seeing her wearing those shoes, thinks, oh, that's sexual. But, yeah, I mean, it is an image. I mean, I don't think you're going to see many people outside of urban African environments in Africa wearing high heels, right? They're not wearing it when they've got to go and walk on a dusty road, or when they're walking through the savannah or whatever. So to me, it's not practical. It is an urban, sophisticated kind of image. There's also like an element of prostitution and domination, where a lot of the images of women who are in fashion and modeling and prostitution, a lot of them are in the high heel thing as well, right? But that would never, ever, ever impress me.
Do you think that society has played too much of a part in dictating like what beauty is, what femininity is?
Well, you can't get away from the society you're in and the societal influences, you know, so it's always going to play a part. It's always going to play a part. But what can happen is that you can be influenced for something or influenced against something.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, society pushes out a lot of images from the newspapers, from the billboards, from the TV, from just the people you talk to, from elder people, the generation above you, say when you're coming up, they're telling you, oh, look at that woman, she looks nice. So people adopt those standards. But I think you have to find your own level and what's suitable for you. I'm not against women wearing makeup, but I don't go out with women who wear a lot of makeup and who take 2 hours just to put the makeup on their face. Right? You know what I mean? So that's just me. You know, we're going out. I don't say, oh, you must wear lipstick. But a woman seems to think she must wear lipstick, and maybe she feels happier, or she's been told that she looks brighter wearing the lipstick and the whole thing, right? But I mean, again, it is just me, right? And I've thought about why I'm like that, and it could be where I grew up. There wasn't that many black people around, so I developed my own definition of what a black aesthetic is. I maybe didn't have it right in my face in the same way that other people had a whole range of people, and seeing that, oh, the majority of people adopt this standard of beauty or this standard of what makes a good relationship. I discovered it for myself. I made my own value judgments about what I liked and what I didn't like. And I find somebody who's creative, people who do artistic things, and also people who are a bit individual themselves. I find that beautiful and more attractive than somebody who looks like she's come off a conveyor belt. And you can't tell the difference between her and the next woman who looks like that, says the same things as her, but yet she's expecting to get individual attention and to be treated as an individual when she's already marketed herself almost as part of a group. So if a woman wants individual attention, then she has to have, you know, she don't have to be way out. But, you know, there has to be something a bit individual about the way she dresses, the way she speaks, the things she says. I like intelligent women. I don't just mean university intelligence, but I like women who are sensible. And, you know, there's an element of practicality in how they behave and how they relate to men. And an element of cooperation rather than there's a man, I'm going to say I love him, but I'm going to spend my whole time fighting against him and undermining him and playing a head game with him. You want to play games, you go to the sports centre.
There you go.
Right? You go to the gym. That's what you do, right? You know, go play basketball.
There was something that you mentioned a few minutes ago about the black aesthetic. And what's interesting is that, you know, within the black society, I think that there are lots of ideas of what people should be. I mean, growing up, we had family friends come by, and I remember there was always one of my mum's friends, her eldest daughter was very fair-skinned, and such a big deal was always made out of the fact that she was very fair-skinned. And, you know, not that we were being castigated for being darker, but you always noticed that there was something different about her because she was light. And when I went back home to Ghana, people calling me light-skinned, and I'm like, I would never consider myself light-skinned. So do you think that even within the black community, there is that really strong kind of ethic of that, you know, this would make you good or this will make you not good?
Of course it's there, of course it's there, right? You have all the bleachers, as we call them. I don't like them. People who bleach, I ain't got no time for them. Man and woman.
No, there's someone out there.
Just in case there's any kind of misunderstandings, we know the men are bleaching as well, right? But, I mean, again, right, I've never ever been impressed by blonde women. So even when I was younger and I was working out, oh, am I going to go out only with black women? Am I prepared to go out with a variety? It's never ever been the blonde aesthetic. It's never ever ever. And in a way it's strange because people who grew up among black people, among African people, seem to look up to blondes. Whereas a blonde is something that has never attracted me. I've always been the other way. Always. So it's like, you talk to people, or you see what is pushed up as, oh, this is a great style. You see the black people who want the blonde hair and, you know, the whole kind of look, and it's like, they're just lost. You know, they're lost. If you happen to be black and you're a throwback and your hair comes out blonde naturally, that's fair enough. But, you know, to think that that looks better than natural black 9-ether hair. It's just not.
Exactly.
It's just not there.
The reason why I was asking about the whole black aesthetic, because, you know, I'm watching a lot of stuff about fashion and about what fashion models and people, you know, trying to make it as models. And what you notice is that when you see black models there, you know, they're always a certain type. And the thing is, because the fashion world kind of dictates to us, to the people, what beauty is and what women should look like, do you think that there would come a time where that will change, whereby black women be accepted for what they are, who they are, whether they're dark, light, straight hair, natural hair, twist, locks, whatever. You know, do you think there would come a time where
one will get through, like when Alec Weck and people like that, but in terms of the Western fashion world, no. I mean, you look at Naomi Campbell's style, innit?
Yeah,
it's all that style, right? So even though they're black, you know, some of them have full black features, but they have to put on straight hair. They have to have slim features where they can almost interchange what they wear with what a European would wear. You know, as far as like the jeans and the dresses. I mean, what is coming up though is the big and beautiful style and everything like that, which is obviously spinning off it and saying, well, hold on a minute, we've seen the stick models and that's not necessarily healthy. So there is that element, but that is on the periphery of the main big spend in fashion world. The main big spend in fashion world is nip and tuck.
Yeah, I think what's kind of not made me annoyed, but I mean, when J-Lo hit the scene, all of a sudden everyone's like going, oh, it's great to have a big butt and it's great to have curves and stuff, and you're thinking there's women like this for centuries, you know, and all of a sudden just one Latina came along and you were like, wow. Then Beyonce followed, you know, everyone's suddenly noticed her, and you're thinking to yourself, this
but
is
if you look at the shade of J-Lo and if you look at the shade of Beyonce and if you look at what Beyonce has done to herself, I mean, give her 10 years, Beyonce's going to look like Michael.
You know what? I'm laughing, but I actually can see that happening. It's true. I mean, what would be quite nice, the message I would like to get out to young women especially, is that, you know, just to be themselves. What you said earlier at the beginning about beauty being inside and, you know, being a little bit individual, a little bit just slightly different than the mould. I think that's kind of key, because I think too many times people are following what the J-Los and the Beyoncés, you know, the Naomi Campbells are doing, rather than actually looking inside to find out, well, what is actually within me, you know, what can I bring to the table as me one? What do you think of that? Would you agree?
Definitely. I mean, I think, because ultimately, right, it's you and, in a man's case, it's you and your woman, ultimately anyway, so, you know, all the kind of like, the stereotyping and the generalities and the this and that that's going on, you know, ultimately you are the individual, so you have to be able to stand as an individual when you get into a relationship. And that's why relationships break down sometimes, because it's like the person hasn't got any individual sense of self outside of wanting to be like a stereotype of something.
But do you think that in some ways maybe men are actually looking for the stereotype of something? They're like, I can't get J-Lo in real life, so I'll get the copy of her down the street on East Street Market, you know? Yeah,
well, this is what they tell me. A man don't want to walk on the street with a woman that other men aren't attracted to, because there's no points. You know what I'm saying? Because there's an ego there as well, that you have to have a beautiful woman on your arm, because then that makes you somebody. You have to have a woman that other men are attracted to, but then you get yourself in that cycle of, well, other men are attracted to her, so you're going to have to fight those men off, because you've gone for a woman who attracts lots of men who are of all different manner of character. So it's like, you know, you're putting yourself in a war zone because you're wanting something for the public image.
Okay.
You know, you're wanting the woman for the public image. You want to be able to say, I've got a beautiful woman, and every other man, see what I was able to get.
Right.
I'm better than you. So you want to use your woman to score points off other men. Yeah. If you're happy with that lifestyle, live it.
Basically what you're saying is that, you know, it doesn't matter what other men feel about your woman, it's what you feel for her. And don't you think that requires a certain kind of inner strength within yourself? Because, I mean, if you're like, say, a guy, he's met this girl and she's not all that, she's a lovely person, but he likes her, he loves her, he feels she's the one, and then all his friends are kind of dogging him, going, oh, your girls are butters, you know, your girl's this, your girl's that. You know, how is he supposed to stand knowing that everyone's dogging on his girl? I'm just throwing it out there, I'm not saying that this happens.
Yeah, but then, I mean, if she's got a bad personality, that's different, but I mean, if they're just saying, oh, like, she's not the nicest looking woman, you know, pretty looks are going to go, right? I mean, a lot of men, by the time you get to 28, 30, I mean, you might want a beautiful woman to walk up and down on the street with, but you're looking at a more practical woman if you're talking about settling down in any way. You'll drop the beauty for somebody who's there supporting you. That's a fact. Yeah, when you're young, you might just want the most beautiful girl in the class when you're like 15, right? But, you want head girl or whatever like that. But, it's a different thing when you get a bit older and you start thinking, what do I need to compliment myself?
Yeah.
It's not the most prettiest girl that you need to compliment yourself. It's the woman who compliments you that you need to compliment and to do what you have to do.
Well, thank you for your insights and thank you for sharing. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Nubiart, a different perspective on the African world.